covering the entire Piedmont Triad and everywhere you are. WXII 12 News at 5 starts now.
Happening right now on WXII 12 News at 5. A lot of news on this Wednesday, including the latest from the tornado-ravaged Midwest and the search for answers in a Greensboro teen's murder.
But we're starting off here in the Weather Center, where Chief Meteorologist Lainey Pope and meteorologist Michelle Kennedy are both tracking some storms in parts of our area. What are you seeing out there?
Well, right now we don't have any active severe thunderstorm warnings, but we have had a couple earlier today. Parts of Grayson, Allegheny, and Wilkes County with some hail reports as well as some very heavy rain. You're looking live right now in downtown Mount Airy, where you can see some storm clouds off to the west. A live look at Super Doppler 12 radar will show you some of the heavier rains as this weather system is kind of pushing its way slowly to the east. It hasn't had nearly as much lightning, and we haven't had any severe thunderstorm warnings over the last half an hour. However, some pretty heavy rain and a lightning flash just west of Mount Airy now. Also some moderate rain over Ennis as we travel northward into Patrick and Carroll County. You see the heavy rains too. And then we're also up around Elkin with heavy downpours. We have had some issues with flooding over Grayson County with 1 inch an hour rates coming from some of these storms. They are on the move right now across mainly the mountains and the foothills. The triad so far with just partly to mostly cloudy skies, and of course the warm air still out there. You can see the stormy pattern over the last 6 hours working its way into North Carolina as that front gets a little bit closer. Here's what you can expect for this evening. We will have spotty storms with that threat for heavy rain, gusty winds, and even some hail. Look for a lingering shower chance overnight. Temperatures will be in the 60s once again. Let's check in with Chris for traffic.
We have delays in Greensboro with an accident on MLK Jr. Drive at Florida Street. That's normally a busy area. Be careful if you're heading over there. Also, 52 is going pretty slow right now, 15 miles per hour heading north. Take a look at our traffic camera. This is just east of that Business 40 at 5th Street. Everything's moving well on Business 40. Stay updated on Twitter at WXII.
And you can track whatever weather comes our way right down to your neighborhood on your desktop. Just go to WXII12.com and check out the interactive radar feature in our weather section.
Right now, we're learning more about the casualties of that tornado that ravaged Moore, Oklahoma earlier this week. Among the 24 people killed, 10 were children, and today we learned 2 were infants. The 8 other children ranged in age from 4 to 9 years old. As for structural damage, a preliminary estimate suggests the cost will be more than $2 billion. President Obama plans to tour the destruction on Sunday.
And take a look at the photo that was just sent into the WXII 12 newsroom showing just how powerful an EF5 tornado can be. It sent a piece of wood right through some concrete curbing.
Tonight, a retired local pastor is sharing his connection to the heartland. He knows firsthand the feelings of those dealing with the devastation in Oklahoma, what they're feeling right now. Margaret Johnson joins us in the newsroom with a story new at 5.
Well, good evening to you. Dr. Alan Cox of Piedmont International University here in the Triad has lived and worked through some of the worst disasters in Oklahoma history, just like the massive and deadly destruction we're seeing right now in Oklahoma. Cox was there in '95, helping after the explosion at the Federal Building. In '99, the church he pastored, First Baptist, was the epicenter for relief efforts when that deadly tornado tore through Moore. His church even served as a morgue for the victims, some of whom he had to identify. So watching the devastation now brings back horrid memories.
When I got to the church after the tornado in '99, it was just absolute devastation everywhere, and people were just coming up out of their storm cellars, storm shelters, their safe rooms, and lost everything. And there was nothing there. Their houses were gone, their vehicles were gone, their clothes, their animals.
Cox says he and his church worked for months to help those victims, and when it was time for them to debrief, he says they all broke down in tears. Back to you.
Thanks, Margot.
Governor Pat McCrory sat down with WXII 12 News for a one-on-one interview this afternoon. Among the issues we discussed with the governor, guns on college campuses and state control over local issues, specifically making Guilford County's school board elections partisan. Bill Neal is live in Greensboro tonight with that story. Bill?
Gab, you may remember the Senator Trudy Wade introduced that bill to make local school board races partisan. She said it would greatly improve the voter turnout. She and other Republicans said that. Well, Guilford County school board members, they were dumbfounded by the news. One board member told me she never saw that one coming. Now, Senator Wade's plan would give Republicans a better chance of winning seats on a partisan board. And today, I asked the governor if he supports that plan.
I'm a local guy. I come from local politics, and I believe in most cases, local government should be making their own decisions.
We also asked the governor about Republican plans to expand the rights of gun owners, specifically if he supports allowing guns on college campuses.
I'm reviewing the legislation right now. I will not support guns in dorms or in classrooms, but regarding a gun of someone who's 21 and over locked in a trunk in another locked case, I don't have a problem with. But beyond that, I probably wouldn't agree with it.
On a lighter note, we also asked the governor about the idea of moving the Bobcats name back to the Charlotte Hornets name. And the governor says he loves the idea. He wants the teal color back. And he says he'd also love to see Del Curry's sons, Stephen and Seth Curry, come play basketball here in North Carolina. Back to you.
Probably a lot of people agree with that. Thank you very much, Bill O'Neill, live in Greensboro. New at 5 o'clock. A Fort Bragg soldier who has been missing for more than a year has officially been declared dead by the U.S. Army. 23-year-old specialist Kelly Bordeaux was last seen leaving the Froggy Bottoms bar in Fayetteville on April 13, 2012. The Army made this declaration so that her family can now start receiving military death benefits. His murder has remained a mystery for months now.
Tonight, Greensboro police are stepping up efforts in the search for a teenager's murderer. Stephanie Brzezinski is live in Guilford County now with details. Stephanie.
Good evening, Wanda and Cam. Law enforcement agents from the High Point Police Department, the Guilford County Sheriff's Office, and the Greensboro Police Department are starting to gather here at City Lake Park in Jamestown. Now they'll be getting divided up into teams and then branching out into the community in search of any information that may bring closure to this case. 18-year-old Dorian Jackson went missing January 10th after leaving his home along Tangle Lane in High Point. His body was discovered by fishermen nearly 2 months later on March 3rd in Lake Townsend in Greensboro. The medical examiner recently ruled Jackson's death a homicide, the autopsy revealing he was shot once in the back of the neck. At this point in the investigation, police have no suspect information. Jackson's mother is hopeful this door-to-door canvass will bring forth clues that lead police to her son's killer.
One of those situations where as a mom you refuse to give up and rest until you know, until you have all the answers?
Yes. I don't think I can give up. I think I will continue to push them or try to, make sure there's always out there, so there will be an answer.
And again, police and investigators are asking anyone with any information to please come forward. You can talk with them tonight as they come door to door, or you can also call Crime Stoppers. Back to you guys.
All right, thanks a lot, Stephanie. A Davidson County teenager has been charged with DWI after a two-vehicle crash that sent him and 3 others, including an infant, to the hospital. It happened yesterday morning in the area of Fisher Ferry Road in Thomasville. Police say Zachary Poole, who's 19, failed to yield and drove into the path of a Toyota Highlander driven by Monica Persiani. She and her 11-month-old daughter were taken to Wake Forest Baptist for treatment. Back on April 16th and May 5th, Poole was charged with driving without a license.
Still no arrest in a Greensboro hit and run that killed a man. That happened just after 5 o'clock Sunday morning on Willow Road. 44-year-old Lamont Warren was killed in that accident. Anyone with information should call Greensboro Crime Stoppers at 373-1000. A friend of slain Boston Marathon bombing suspect Tamerlan Tsarnaev was shot and killed overnight by an FBI agent who was questioning him. Investigators say that 27-year-old Ibrahim Totoshev lunged at the agent with a knife while being questioned in Orlando. The agent was not seriously hurt. Totoshev has been interviewed by the FBI about his connection to the bombing suspects. Sources with NBC News say that he had been cooperating with the FBI at first.
Right now, the State Department of Health and Human Services says the Medicaid shortfall is more than $330 million in North Carolina. That's $85 million more than what was projected earlier this month. If passed, a bill currently going through the General Assembly would give the governor access to $400 million in funds to cover that shortfall. However, that money is also to be used for a $118 million outstanding drug rebate to the federal government.
It was last month that he was nominated to be the next U.S. Transportation Secretary, and right now Charlotte Mayor Anthony Fox is being interviewed for that job by a Senate committee. If he's confirmed, the 42-year-old would replace current Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood.
Authorities in Rockingham County right now are looking for the vandals who hit a high school overnight. You're looking at the damage discovered at Rockingham County High School this morning. Investigators are looking at a possible suspect vehicle caught by school surveillance cameras. It was an unusual rescue for Winston-Salem firefighters.
Take a look at the picture we have of a 10-year-old boy who got stuck in a chimney at the children's home on Renolda Road. We're told that the boy was playing and climbed in and got stuck. That happened on Saturday. He was rescued and was not seriously hurt.
Well, he is one of the most sought-after high school basketball recruits in America, and tonight Theo Pinson has made his pick. I'll explain what ultimately tipped the scales for the High Point superstar.
An unusual sight outside the state capitol today, the reason a luxury car maker was in Raleigh.
And then at 5:30, how on their last day of school, some local students honored the victims of the tornado in Oklahoma.
Well, the storms are staying to the west, so it's a perfect afternoon in the Triad for our backyard barbecue. It's Wednesday. We've got food on the grill, chicken fajitas, as a matter of fact. We have our special guests, the Cupcake Club, a group of 7th graders that's making a difference in your community. We'll find out how coming up.